situation. I don't really see a reason why you changed that. And now we can go over to Anyone's Legend. They took Jinx Jarvan. Jinx, I think for sure you take again in this situation. You could potentially take the Jhin instead, but I don't think really it was a problem. And Betty is a remarkable Jinx. I think the Jarvan as well still makes sense. I don't think these are the issues. And I like it when teams who lost, they don't completely change the draft. They tweak. They're like, what didn't work, what did work, right? And something that I definitely think they should have gotten was the Leona. I'm not sure they needed to pick it this early because last time we saw FPX take the Lulu on this rotation, then they could have taken the Leona third pick. But either way, they lock it in. They now have threat onto this Aphelios, and Lulu won't have as an easier time in lane.
Yeah, and even if they take the Jarvan here, you have something that can follow you up, can go with you when you go on those big excursions to try and make something happen on the Jarvan. So not too bad of a pick there for the side of Anyone's Legend. This time around, though, looks like they're hovering towards the Viegos. They want that threat. They want that on the backside, force the AD carry away. Because, yes, there was a couple of times where Beishuan did go a little bit too far forward. At the end of it, though, he did separate Betty from the rest of the fight, and that's all he really needed to do. So this time around, Anyone's Legend changing up the draft quite a bit, taking the Viego, and I would not be surprised to see Beishuan take the Jarvan on the reverse side of the matchup, or maybe go something a little bit more AP.
We'll see who ends up picking. They opt to go for the Lulu again. I still think it's fine, but there's a lot more threat, right, posed by the Leona. One thing to say, though, is LWX is going to take Cleanse, right? Before, if you took Cleanse, you know, it doesn't solve the issue of the Jarvan, and the Rakan has a knock-up afterwards. But Cleanse deals the Leona, and without a Jarvan on the table, a lot less threat towards LWX with that summoner available. Now, opted not to go for the Jarvan, instead going for the Talons, so Beishuan able to move him on the map quickly and apply quite a bit of pressure. And one thing is that, you know, if you get into melee range, if Zin's out early, he can give you a hard time as a Talon, but against a Viego, you should be pretty comfortable.
Should be very, very comfortable. The Talon locked and loaded there for Beishuan. Should be able to get himself around the map pretty damn quickly. We now see what Anyone's Legend wants to try and answer with. It is almost certainly going to be an AD carry pick, or in this case, an AP carry pick, as they lock in the Ziggs. Great at just mitigating a lot of that pressure. You get a couple of levels into your queue, and you can just start one-shotting the back wave.
What I think as well is that when you go and dive onto the Aphelios, you can just literally throw the ult on top. But critically, Ziggs is very self-sufficient. He can just function in the lane alone while Chocho roams and gets the map ahead. So I want to see what the potential mid pick is. FPX ban the Twisted Fate. We could see the Jace getting banned here, but instead they go for the Jax. So Jace still open and available as a pretty high tier priority pick. Aside of TF, Syndra potentially could be something you're a bit concerned about. Vex also a pretty solid mid lane pick. I do feel like Anyone's Legend is going to need some AD, so maybe Jace top lane and they take something like the Syndra mid would make sense, but it gives a lot of value to Merc Treads or Cleanse for the enemy team.
And I do like this as well. You're taking away the Twisted Fate and the Camille, things that can have that big split push threat. You do not want that to happen for you. You want to be able to try and catch people out. And while the side of Anyone's Legend decide who they want to leave for the ban or the blind pick, I imagine they're going to go try and get their mid laner sorted out here. So Maple maybe picking up the Akali here. Does have a little bit of flexibility. Can't see it up in the top side, but wait to see what they want to lock in. Again, Xiaolao, who on that Graves last game was just quietly farming himself up a storm, really looked good on it. So this time around, he's going to have to face up into that Graves.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this. I think there's better blind top laners available, and it means you can have counter pick mid. If you pick Akali, you could definitely end up in a matchup mid that would be painful. FPX, they could just take the Ryze again. If it ain't broke, why fix it? And then the question comes down to what Xiaolao who wants to take. Jace is definitely an open and available matchup we've picked. We've seen that matchup quite a bit so far this season.
It is the year of Ahri. I'm not going to pick it, but it's nice that they hover over it and say hi. But the Tryndamere is definitely a counter pick that can go into it. And again, Xiaolao, who farmed himself up a storm, farmed himself up into relevancy in that last game on the Graves. See if he wants to do the exact same thing here. He's swapping between the two. We'll see what he wants to drop in. But the Jace, far easier, far more win conditions available. You can go poke, you can go all in. There's a lot more flexibility with that pick and top side.
Yeah, you offer a bit more pressure in the early lane with the Jace, and then it gets to a point if you find Graves unprepared, you can all in him. But once he gets the shield bow, it's kind of hard to poke him out. But obviously, strong pick into the late stage of the game. Now, for Anyone's Legend, because they have so much AD on the top side, they can just pick an AP mid laner quite comfortably. Victor can do fine into Ryze, and actually, other than the Jace with the Shock Blast, it's a kind of short-range composition that Victor works into, but they're going to opt for the Zoe, so heavy poke available. And the thing you got to think about, if they poke someone out, if they burst someone, Xiao Hao can then follow up and then use that to possess them. I do think FPX, I think, are very comfortable. They have a very similar draft to the last game with just their top and jungle being changed. But Anyone's Legend has a lot more threat on the bot lane. They have a mid laner who should be able to find priority early. I want to see what they can do with this change up.
See where they all want to shake it up. It is a different top half, I would say, for FPX. Not even that different, to be perfectly honest. They will still have the 80 top laner. They will still have the Rise in the mid lane. And from the side of Anyone's Legend, they're looking to try and get these each of the teams in the LPL, which means your head-to-head is based off of this best of 5. It's basically saying that at the end of the day, even if you're equal on score, if you finish off a season 8-8, if you own the head-to-head, you go above. So that's the big moment you have for both of these squads.
I will say, I'm not sure FPX is too concerned about head-to-head against Anyone's Legend.
I know, it's still early.
It's still early,
one
you know.
series behind. That's
Who
not
knows?
fair.
Who knows how it could come up? But, you know, points to the board are important regardless. So I won't discredit that.
So mean.
What a imagine, right? Anyone's Legend and FPX tied for first, and this is the series. That'd be wild. That is a future I'm not sure we are ready for.
I think the future is more likely is that Anyone Legends and FPX are tied for 10th. And it's a last playoff spot. That seems a little bit more achievable, you know?
You know what? I don't know, man. I have faith in FPX. I think they've looked good in this series. I think they've looked good in the previous ones, right? We still have to see more, right? We still have to see more tests, but they've done what you'd asked of them so far. And I think game 1 was pretty convincing. But
Yeah,
remains to be seen.
fair.
Both junglers starting off on the top side of the map, so we'll see if they end up doing. We've seen a little bit of that where you clear 2 camps on your top side and then go bot and kind of loop rounds. You can end up on the top scuttle if you don't want to be contesting early. But oh, there's the aggression.
There's the aggression. You flash forward. You get the Shield of Daybreak down. Now Chocho, though, taking a lot of return damage here. So it is going to be a trade of health bars. But honestly, the health bar of a support for the health bar of an AD carry, you take those.
Yes, here's the critical thing. Supports get more health potions. How broken, right? And on top of that, you also have Hex Flash available for Chocho. So it doesn't really matter that much that you down flash. I will say, Hung is doing this lion's share of work. He's just walking up and trading. But level 2 about to be hit. He's ready for the EQ. Hex Flash charging.
He's going to charge it. He has got the Q available. He's going to force the flash out of Hong. Yep, you have to do that because with the satchel charge, you would have died.
I just think how different this lane is to last game. Last game where we saw Betty and Chocho zoned off the wave, not even able to touch it for level 1. This time, they're able to press the advantage. I love the aggression from Chocho. I love the fact that they got all summoners before 3 minutes into the game, every single summoner burn from FPX's bot lane.
Here's Xiaohao. You said you wanted to see him going into mid lane. You said you want to see him being aggressive, and he is being just that.
Oh, and he snipes it with
Did he?
the
I didn't even
smite.
see it. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
he got the big one. He got the big one. The heist is successful.
Successful heist. You might be playing for 100 Thieves next year at that rate. But
I
yeah,
hope not.
I certainly hope not. I'm sure he certainly hopes not as well. But never mind. Moving back in before I dunk on NA anymore, which is just too easy. It's like low-hanging fruit. Like, you know, it's like that. It's like a D's nuts joke. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, it's just not worth it at the end.
It's like the
everyone knows
kiddie
it's
basketball
coming.
hoop. You know the one, Chad?
Yeah. It's like a 7-year-old trying to play, and you just like dunk it on him. Just, yeah. It's like, why are you proud about this? Like, come on. Well, triple bubble lands. That's gonna be Maple using the Prowler's Claw. Ooh, that feels nice. And they get themselves first blood. This is exactly what you said you wanted to see, Ox. You said you wanted to see. The Viego going around making plays and getting in the faces of FPX.
Yeah, we have aggression from Chocho. Oh, but I'll hold that thought. The ZDZ, I think he's ready. I think he senses it, he backs off a little bit. No reason to push. But as I was saying, Chocho aggressive in the bot lane, threatening the enemy 2v2. Great, love to see it. Xiaohao putting pressure mid, where you have the Zoe, who's great at setting up ganks, and also has the can sort of dictate the wave state early. Again, great. This is what I want to see from Anyone's Legend. Keep applying this pressure, right? You have no summoners available for the bot lane. That's easy setup for later. And also, Betty is going to get his first back, which is when he can really start to wave clear a bit easier, when he gets some extra mana in his pocket. So all positive so far. It's just a matter of keeping it up.
We'll now see. Try a little trade maybe on the Big Bird, and ooh, misses the stun. So flash into the parkour means they are going to be able to get him out of there. But again, summoner blown. You can see Beishuan trying to be a little bit more aggressive, and Xiaohao and Maple were in vicinity to punish.
Yeah, I love the moves, right? You steal his Raptor, the large one, away, and then you know he's going to want to steal away yours. It's especially for a Talon who's so hard to pin down. Such a good camp to go for. But they punish him. They get his flash. Unfortunately, the stun didn't connect. Otherwise, we probably would have seen the Sleepy Trouble Bubble follow up, and it most likely would have been kill. But, you know, either way, they force him out. They burn the summoner. Maple gets to pick up the flash himself, which is nice. And now we have that point, right? Betty now has a tier available. Even without it being stacked, the base mana means you can throw plenty more abilities. He's nearly level 5, which is a big spike for Ziggs, because 3 points in your queue means you can just wave clear very quickly with it. So now is Chocho's sort of time to be like, I can roam on the map. I know Betty is safe and comfortable. On top of that, he picks up a plate.
Big swing there. Very different dynamic from what we saw in game 1. And for FBX, oh, I stopped myself there. We are going to see DDZ going toe-to-toe with the Jace. We'll get the To The Skies at knockback, so it's a pretty even trade between the two guys. There is a Serrated Dirk, though, so a lot of damage available. Nice fancy feet from ZDZ. Does walk away from the biggest trade, and the end of it all, he has the Vampiric Scepter. He will be trading up in these skirmishes because he can sustain.
Exactly. That's the big thing. You're happy to take those trades when you have the sustain. Also, he hits level 6, which is a big spike for Graves, not nearly as big for the Jace. But on top of that, it's like Jace is good at finding the all-in, right? If he combos you, uses his full set of abilities in both forms, he can kill you. But if you go for those heavier trades, sustain up, you will win out in the long run. So good decision from ZDZ. And anyone's legend, they end up picking the dragon. You see Chocho just holding the wave. This is a really comfortable spot for Betty to be in. And again, I want to see you moving around. I will say summoners are now basically coming back up for FPX's bot lane. So they weren't really able to capitalize too much on the fact they were burnt early. It did obviously, it provides some pressure, right? If summoners are down, you play differently. But they weren't really able to find anything off the back of it.
Sean is here waiting at the red buff. They know there's no smite now available for Viego, as he's most likely on his Krugs, and that's going to be a pretty easy steal coming out now for the FBX jungler. Gets himself that as his level 6 as well. So nice little steal back, and this is the things you can do as a Talon. You can get over the walls, you can get into positions where people are not expecting you, and just get those very cheeky, very close to danger calls that end up giving you an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you should be playing the Talon, right? You should be aggressive, looking for those invades, stealing away camps, providing annoyance and a nuisance. Xiaohao, but now Maple has priority. He's got the blue smite picked up, so good setup to potentially punish Beishwan, who's still flashless, but I think he should just be able to get out on this one.
It should be fine. There's his ultimate out, but that's a big cooldown in itself, so you want to be using that to try and kill off a laner if you can. Does not get it, so again, very good proactive roam here from Anyone's Legends jungler. Gets himself the ultimate cooldown out of the FPX jungler, and now, you know, you're going to be pretty happy with this. We can see now maybe a Trouble Bubble. Nope, not quite going to land. But they don't know that the Viego is here. They do now, but he's not going to be able to land any more CC.
Yeah, can't do much more, and with the Talon without ultimate, you're not really interested in sort of joining in on that fight and looking for a 2v2. Obviously, you know, that's the value. You sort of burn that ultimate. It sort of reduces Beishwan's ability to really contest anything right now, so he's just going to stick to farming. Anyone's Legend, again, they had the good early start. They haven't really been able to make anything from it, and a big takeaway is how far behind Xiaohao now is on farm, right? We've seen those camps stolen away, but Talon is fast at clearing, and now he's going for the Rift Herald, right? Not questioning his decision, but Talon's just going to go in your boss side jungle and steal the camps away at this rate, right? There's no reason for him not to go for that right now, and it just means this gap between junglers is going to become even bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it really is. We can see the mid laners trading health bars, and Gory was close to getting about a third of his health taken off of him there, but does not get any damage onto him. They now know exactly where the Talon is. They did see the Q going out, so they know they need to be a little bit more careful. Rise with Realm Orb could deliver everybody into this bot side as quick as you like. So they are just going to pay a little bit of respect and they get the plate traded back in favor of FPX.
See more trade in the top lane. But I'm liking what Beishwan is doing, essentially, is accruing that lead in the jungle, getting that advantage. And overall, as much as there's positivity from Anyone's Legend at the start of the game, they haven't really been able to transition it. But now, you have level 7 on the Viego, right? You got your ult available, your skirmishing spikes pretty significantly. I want to see them make things happen, right? I want to see Chocho moving around. I want to see you making use of this Leona. If you're just going to sit in lane and scale, then you might as well have picked, you know, Yuumi or something.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. You'll have to see what they want to go for. Is Anyone Legend now going to pop down this Rift Herald here? I love this play. We see it a million times with the Ziggs. Ziggs has Satchel Charge, 20% execute onto turrets, and also a passive on the auto attacks. Makes taking these early towers, even if you're only going for a quick rotation, very, very easy. Very nicely done by Anyone's Legend, and they have the gold lead.
Get a lot of gold, and now move Betty around. Continue that sort of play on other areas of the map. Stack a wave, brings multiple members. You can overload a lane and then take more towers on the map. You want to be taking enough plates to set up for dinner and more.
Christmas dinner with the whole family coming in.
Extended family, cousins, uncles, aunties.
That extended friend who's a family friend and, you know, never got married themselves. And that's, speaking of which, we've got to see now. I'm going to stop myself straight away because Beishwan flashes in, gets the ult. Nothing you can do there as ZDZ.
Yeah, honestly, though, you need to respect that, right? You know your team have made a play on the bot side. You know you're weak on this side of the map. Hung makes a great decision to move up. Was he needed? No, but the 3-man makes it sure you're guaranteed to be able to take that play successfully, and they get a quick kill and just able to get out. Oh, nearly. For the moment there. Yeah.
Definitely got a little bit of a clencher there as we look to see the Hung Lulu backing himself out. And this is not really what I want to be seeing from anyone's legend. You've got the Ziggs in the bot side just kind of clearing that wave. That's not really optimal. You need to be putting them in a lane where there's still plates. Like, there's still plenty of time to be picking up these plates. 3 minutes left on the clock there before they disappear. You could be getting a lot more gold. And that one kill in topside alongside the farm that was picked up on both ends is just FPX equaling out the goal. In fact, they're probably even a little bit ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they are, because, I mean, a big thing is that Beishwan's found the advantage in the jungle, so you need to find advantage in your lanes, otherwise you're just going to end up not being comfortable in the late stages. And FPX scaled really well in the later stages of the game. They're really comfortable. We saw how strong the Rise becomes. Aphelios Lulu, very threatening, and it's not even like you have a Jinx to fall back on for Betty, so I want to see the productivity. We are seeing that now.
Oh, they do land the Zenith Blade. There's the Solar Flare into the Satchel Charge. That's the CC combination. From what was almost a perfect game one, Hung has a very rare mistake there in the top side.
That's the mechanic, right? The E flash, it leaves so little time because you buffer the E with your flash to extend it. And as a result, oh.
Well, ZDZ is probably dead here. Yep, that's going to be Xiaolahu picking that one up nicely for himself. While that's been happening, there's going to be a trade on top side. So it ends up being an equal trade at the end of it all. The only benefit you get on the side of anyone's legend is that you have a Ziggs and he can pop down his Satchel Charge.
Yeah, so you can kill this tower pretty quickly. But ZDZ just getting caught out again. You need to know you're playing on the weak side right now. You need to back off and play safe. Chocho uses the E flash to catch out Hung, who ends up, you know, it connects before he's able to flash. H1 just runs the Z to Z, flips over a wall and kills him. It shouldn't be that easy. You shouldn't be giving over free kills, free gold, and free towers.
Shouldn't, but that is how it went. That tower is getting a lot of free time here, as we can see that the Hex Dragon is going to be started here by the side of Beishwan. They're actually just going to try and delete as many minions as they possibly can before taking that objective. Now, Gory, you need to be a little bit careful there. You need to be very, very safe to know that... Oh, he just walks into it. He's dead. There's nothing else he can do. They're going to drop down the ult as well. Maybe he can get himself with the Realm Warp, but I don't think he can. They're going to have to invest a couple more summoners to get him out, but that is going to be a nice catch out here from the side of anyone's legend. A bit disrespectful there from Gory.
Yeah, he tried to dodge the paddle star and walk into the bubble, which is just a mistake. And then, you know, he flashed out, but you can't really flash against the Zoe because she just steals it. Speaking of stealing, Hung just gets the blue buff. Is there anything this man can't do?
I mean, he deserves it the way he's been playing right now. We'll see the top side eventually get taken down, so that will be all the plates eventually taken out for here. Nicely done there by anyone's legend. So they now get 2, and oh, they catch out the Talon. They try to CC him in, but the Lulu is there to keep him alive. That almost certainly would have been a kill had the Lulu not been around.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, like, it's a lot of shield and a lot of protection, but also it's Talon, right? And there was no one else able to instantly connect, so maybe not. By the way, Hung there. Beishwan only ends up being in the ultimate, so not too much of a concern. They stop him from potentially finding an inroad on Betty. You see that ZDZ is able to defend bot lane, but there's this window mid, right? Plates have just gone down. They can get a lot of damage on this tower.
Honestly, they might be able to just take it out if they're not able to get anyone from the side of Anyone's Legends here. They will just put Chocho there. So, yep, FBX will respect it, but that's down to about half HP. No one really close to the soul as we come up to the 15-minute mark of the game. FBX coming in now to the mid-game with about 1,000 gold lead. So Anyone's Legend not quite out of it just yet, and they have got their first item picked up here for Betty. They're looking at 2 Luden's Echoes, or excuse me, Luden's Tempest for Zoe and for Ziggs, respectively. You've got the Immortal Shield Bow as well for the Graves. So they're at a pretty decent spike. But speaking of pretty decent spike, Shadow, who he's already at 150 CS. The man just knows how to CS. He's already got 2 items.
Yeah, I mean, the Man Immune doesn't really offer as much stats as like a main item at this point, but still, like, the fact you're both getting... Ooh, That is some poke, right? Often you land those sleepy trouble bubbles, you can't follow up. It's like it didn't really achieve anything, but the Ziggs always can connect. Huge amount of poke onto Hung, and now they should just get this Herald for free, but might be the cost of that tower mid. We see some wave play coming down from the Ziggs, and that's actually enough to keep it safe. The power of the Ziggs, right?
Oh, flash in. They're going to land the solar flare there onto the Talon as well. He's already used his ultimate, or excuse me, his passive to try and get himself over the wall, so he's going to get himself out. Nicely done there by him. They trade it back. There's the Moonlight Vigil, not going to connect. The flash is in from ZDZ to keep him alive. Now, do they go for anything more? They go in with the Viego, trying to get those resets, but Talon is over the wall and far away. Never mind, the Viego has found himself a target. Make it 2, and now he's a little Lulu running around. Finally gets over the wall to keep himself safe, and then all is said and done. It's a 3 for 1 in favor of Anyone's Legends.
And I was just saying, like, FPX played that well, but so many of them are low. Perfect scenario for Viego to come in and get some resets. Just a bit of an overstay from FPX on the back end. I think they didn't expect Xiaohao to go in. Really solid play from him, and it was close, I'll tell you that much. But he got the resets, managed to find some momentum. So we'll get a replay of that one. So, you know, we see Beishon just go straight for Betty in this situation. The Hex Flash over the wall from Chocho keeps him alive. They aren't able to kill him because, you know, it's Talon. But in the sort of play coming out of that, you see a lot of damage from Betty come over the wall. You see ZDZ do a bunch of damage. Everyone's getting pretty low. And that's kind of a signal for Xiaohao. This is go time, right? One reset and you can just start to find momentum.
Yeah, he almost got the Talon as well. So if he gets that, he's able to go over the wall. He probably gets it a hell of a lot more. It nearly goes down. Not quite able to happen, though, for the side of FBX. And Anyone's Legend now back on even footing. They're only about 400 to 500 gold behind. As we can see now, the Talon seeing if he can do something here, but there's a fantastic ultimate from downtown. You can see straight away now, this Jason Talon just haven't got the burst potential to keep themselves in the ascendancy, and that means they're not getting the picks.
Yeah, and I love Betty, so on point with these ults, constantly throwing them just to assist with these plays in this side of the map. And then he's just there mid, clearing the wave, so they can't really threaten towers in response. Good coverage from Anyone's Legend, not giving an advantage. But Dragon spawn in 30 seconds. FPX, some low health bars, but they do have control of the area.
You have 3 teleports inside of Anyone's Legends. You've got the Ziggs, the Zoe, and the Graves. So the actual side wave pressure is going to be very much in their favor. And you can see now, they go back, they get Zoe back into the lane, and they're able to continue this pressure down in the mid lane. So they've got the Shurelya's Revelry to maybe put a little bit of pressure down. But right now, it does feel like it is Anyone's Legend with the priority over this lane.
Look how low Beishon is. He got poked out by Maple. He had to ult to get away. Jungler basically out of the fight. As is LWX. Maple's doing so much work here. And they'll just get the mid lane tower. Now they can go over to Dragon. Beishon has to reset. Maple's just making it happen.
Maple is putting in work. Maple and Betty, the veteran players, the old Flash Wolves guard, if you will, coming in for Anyone's Legend and really showing they have got that veterancy going for them right now. Really well played. They're able to, yes, they don't get any kills, but the health bars alone are enough to just keep them in the ascendancy and keep them pushing forward. And while that's been happening, you can see good moves here from FBX. They recognize that they couldn't contest, and they go ahead and they get themselves a tier 1 as well, so they get back a little bit of that gold.
And that's the power of this Anyone's Legend composition, right? You should be looking for the poke from a distance. And then off the back of that, there's so much threat from Xiaohao getting resets that the enemy team just can't even fight. That's the game plan, right? With the Ziggs and the Zoe functioning in this way. So it's just really excellently played from Maple to find that pressure. They secure the Dragon. Still 2 away from getting the Souls for a while yet. And they are still marginally down in gold, but definitely a good effort to make things happen. My big thing, though, is when Jace starts joining, okay? Xiaohao, who 200 CS at this point, nearly got his Mana Immune stacked, and he had those items for a while. He should be able to pick up some more. So when he starts joining the fight, his Shock Blast will be contending with the amount of poke coming out from Anyone's Legend.
It's all about hitting them, though. This is the thing with poke compositions and poke damage in general. You gotta land that damage in order for it to make any real difference. If you're not hitting
don't
it,
miss.
Yeah, I mean, simple as do not miss. And speaking of not missing, we are going to see again another engage coming out from Chocho. We highlighted this guy in the pre-game of this series because he is pivotal for his team, and he is proving that we were not wrong to say that because he has just been everywhere on the map blowing summoners.
Oh, Betty.
Oh, does he bleed down? Not quite. He's going to stay alive. Just about, though.
Beishon keeps hunting for him in these situations. It's really scary, honestly. I feel like a Zhonya's is definitely a pickup you're going to eventually want, but for now, does just manage to survive. Feels like both teams trying to find agency, trying to hunt down targets who are isolated to pick. FX will be happy with that blue buff and then just back away.
It's a bit of a close one, a lot closer than probably people anticipated coming into this game, especially considering how game one went. And Anyone's Legends, they're still behind in gold though. You look at the gold right now, it is about a 2.5, nearly 3,000 gold lead in favor of FPX, despite the kill lead, despite the dragon lead here for the side of Anyone's Legend. And that's the big thing. I think the big thing we got to look into as well is that there's massive CS lead in top, 50 CS between the Jace and the Graves. We can now see Beishuan looking to see if he can get on top of Maple, but I think Maple has a very good idea about what's going on here. I don't know if Beishuan is 100% certain, but you got caught out. They know exactly where you are, buddy, and you need to leave. You need to get out of there because they're going to find you.
How many times has Beishuan used his ult, like this game, just to run away?
Yeah, just to get the invisibility.
Countless amount of times he's just been there. I'm out of here. I'm not interested. I mean, that's the power of talent, right? You can dip out of the... Ooh, speaking of dipping, you need to do that quickly.
Yeah, doesn't have the ult available for him, so he's going to have to try and get himself out. Again, very difficult to kill a Talon, but can be done if you're able to get the damage down. But this has been happening. Look at the damage you can get down as Xiaolao, who pushes in mid with this Jace. He's got himself up to nearly 3 items. Looks like he's going to use... Well, I was going to say what item he might be going for, but I just realized all lethality items build from what Caulfield's Warhammer and Serrated Dirt. Like, literally every single one. It's kind of ridiculous. So
yeah, pretty common build path.
Very common build path as we come into League of Legends in 2022, but maybe a Youmuu's perhaps going for just, you know, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you because there's actually so many things, but that was
probably
a big
Ghost
moment.
Blade, I would think.
Yes, probably that one, but you see there, they knew exactly where the Talon was, and they were able to kind of fish him out. Minute 30 now until the Dragon spawns, and how do you want to approach this if you're FBX and Anyone's Legend? Where do they want to be trying to make their advantages known?
I think vision control is like really important in this setup, right? There's so much poke available to both sides, and I honestly think in terms of setting up, it's the war of the poke, right? Have Xiaolao Hu there early, firing shock blast in. Good shock blast is probably enough just to zone Anyone's Legend away, but on the return, you land a sleepy trouble bubble into the Mega Inferno Bomb. That might just force them not to be able to fight you, right? The power in the fight is one thing. The thing is, FPX don't have that great engage. Anyone's Legend do, but they also have great poke. So I feel like that's the important thing. Hung is in this position, getting some deep vision. And that's vital, right? Poke is so much more threatening when you don't know where it's coming from.
And when you are able to get into those fogs of war, when you're able to put yourself into positions where the enemy does not know where you are, you can just do so much more with it. Now, Gory has to be a little bit careful. He's pretty set up with his 2 items. He's got the Seraphs and, of course, the Everfrost as well, but still need to be very careful how it goes down. We can see the accelerated shock blast will not land. I was actually just very curious to see how much damage it would do because the To the Skies is doing about a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Jace can just burst you. If he lands everything, he can 100-0 you. But the thing is, if he doesn't, Graves can just clear the wave, right? And he has Bloodthirster, and not Bloodthirster, sorry, Mortal Shield Bow, so you can just sustain back up. He has the lifesteal. So it's, and he has a lot of wave clear, so there's not too much threat unless you make a mistake. Now, Xiaolao Hu's resetting, but it looks like the vision control from FPX, the map control they have, means that Anyone's Legend can't even get close, right? They'll secure this dragon. That's 2 on each side, and still 3,000 gold lead for FPX. So they're comfortable, right? Still a ways to go, but they are pretty comfortable with their position. They have a massive farm lead, top, mid, and even, I mean, you look at the, like, top is like a 50 CS lead. Jungle is 60, 70. Mid and 80 carry is like a 30, 20 CS lead. In fact, almost 40 from Gory. It's like, these are substantial leads coming out just from the gold, and that's why there is such a divide between these 2 teams.
I mean, it's an item and a half for the Graves versus 3 items for the Jace. It's a massive discrepancy right now, and this is where this, you know, these fights can turn on its head because, again, like we mentioned, it's not all about the kills. It's about objectives. It's about getting those item spikes before the big fights, and that's where you're going to find your success. So for FBX, they are comfortable, like you mentioned, but moving forward with this plan. They are continually getting 10 more CS ahead, 5 more CS ahead, finishing off items. You're almost, you know, you're only about 2,000 gold away from the Aphelios having the, oh, as I say that, we're going to see, oh, nice flash from Beishuan. Gets out of the way of the paddle star. That would have almost certainly killed him.
It's dangerous, right? Anyone's Legend keep posing threat in these situations. Now they're looking, but unable to find anything. They keep looking for these picks, and it's scary, but they aren't always really getting kills. And even if they do, they're not really translating it to anything. And FPX is just happy to keep farming up, keep scaling up. They're comfortable, right? You got triple Merc Treads on the top side of the map. for FPX. They know the threat is the CC, this lockdown. If you get connected with, it's very easy if you just get blown up. But for the most part, they've managed to avoid it, right? Only 5 kills in this game. We think about how many times Beishuan's been chunked out, Xiaolahu as well. It's been a pretty consistent thing, but they're just not finding the 100-0.
Oh, they're going in. He's going to try to steal the blue buff. Now ZDZ in a lot of trouble. We'll take about half his H-bar away, but look at the... Just look at that. He goes literally from his Raptor camp all the way around and nearly kills off the Graves in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, he goes in, steals the blue buff, pops his ult, refuses to elaborate, and leaves. Right? That is literally...
Chad. Oh, I see that. We're going to see a good flash away by Xiaolahu, but he walks straight into the trouble bubble, so he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Good Lulu, though, to keep the damage and the poke away. They are going to see the flash over the wall. That's not going to be Maple's real flash. It was a W he picked up, but these are small moments now for anyone's legend. They aren't, as you said, quite getting the kills. But while it's all been happening, Gory's just been playing PvE. He wants to get as much farm as Xiaolahu has.
Yeah, that's the problem. Every time they group to make these plays, you just have some... Oh, they're looking for something here.
Oh, the Gale Force was massive there. What? What? How much distance did that go? I thought it was just going to fizzle out, but no.
Here's the
Zoe.
thing.
What the hell?
Here's the thing, right? Gale Force deals magic damage. Look at Maple's items. That's a lot of magic pen, right? You don't expect it to do that much because who has magic pen and builds a Gale Force? Well, this Zoe doesn't need to build one. There's him out with the active, and now this is go time, right? You have the Leona ready to engage. You want to try and get this fight, but Poke is coming down.
Poke is very real. They're going to try and turn this one around. They're going to jump straight down onto Gory. But again, he's very tanky. He's got a lot of sustain in these fights just to be able to keep himself alive. They don't have exact vision, though, of exactly what's going on. They go in, but no, it's going to be smited away. They had the summoner available for the Zoe, and they take away the Leona. Now, can you take away any more of these?
Oh my God! Oh my God! I cannot believe what I just saw.
Timing.
I cannot believe. Oh my Lord. I'm speechless. For anyone who didn't catch that, we'll get the replay, but
we will. I know we have no control. To anyone wondering, we have no control over the replays, but I would love to see that in super slow motion. That was amazing.
That was so funny. I mean, they got the Baron, they got out, and now we get that replay. Okay, this is a little bit earlier.
So they see Chocho, and then it just
so this is when they find LWX, right? So
yeah.
they go for the engage. They know he has cleanse, but the damage, and it's the magic pen on the Gale Force because it does deal magic damage, and that's why in this situation ends up dealing so much on the back end to finish him off. He gets the paddle start and the finish. But yeah, okay, everyone just watch Betty and watch Beishuan, right?
Beishuan top right, Betty top left.
Yeah, just wait. It's just in a moment. It's this moment, right? They're finishing the Baron, getting a low. He's just this moment coming up, right? But he's in the pit. He's like, where do I go? Oh, I guess I should probably get out of here and just watch.
It's just so unfortunate there from the side of FPX. And anyone's legend now, they're still not ahead. They're still 3,500 gold behind despite the kill, despite the Baron, and despite getting mid-tier 1 as well. So this is still a very hard situation for anyone's legend to go for. They have 4-man strong now in this bot side. Lulu's here. This isn't actually a great play for anyone's legend. They recognize that as well. They bring back Maple because they need to be able to stop Inhibitor. A trade in this position when you have Baron is not worth it.
Yeah, you see Hung resetting, and he's actually been pretty good in like pairing up with any of the side laners and applying pressure, because they have to reset though, because if they don't, anyone's legend could actually literally just end. Build back up. Beishuan's fishing.
Jesus, he's so fast. Calm down, son. Like, you don't need to be that fast. But I also wanted to point out that Xiaolahu has nearly 330 CS at the 29-minute mark, which is kind of absurd.
Rather a lot. See, what normally happens is if someone has a ton of CS, it's because they denied someone else, right? You know, when you have like a tank top. You know, when they have like a tank top and it's like, oh, well, they don't take CS, so someone else does. Everyone in FPX has a ton of CS. Everyone. Like 10 CS per minute from both AD carry and mid.
Beishuan's got an 80 CS lead as well.
Yes, the numbers are like massive. Everyone has so much farm. They've just been not letting any waves slip through, which is like really well played, right? Anyone's legend's been constantly grouping. FPX have not been sacrificing these waves, and as a result, they are 4,500 gold ahead, even with anyone's legend getting the Baron.
Getting the Baron, getting the soul point, getting the base broken open down the bot side as well. So It shows you how important those farm leads are. I am curious. I can't remember what. I think it was Showmaker, was it, that had like 400 CS or something like that like 35 minutes. If this game goes that far, I will be looking at it so we can make a comparison and clearly make an egregious point that Showmaker isn't as good as Xiao Lao Hao. But, you know, I digress. I just like teasing the LCK fanboys. It's just very fun for me. They get very mad. And we come back into the game as FBX are still very much ahead. They're still building. It's about 5,000. This gold lead's actually getting bigger and bigger by the minute.
Yeah, it's just ramp, and that's the thing with farm is it just keeps spawning. Waves are coming out the base every 30 seconds. There's no stop to it. Things like Dragon, Baron, team fights, they're only occasional. Farm is just there forever, and FPX have really been collecting it now. They are now on the defensive again, right? Baron has timed out. Anyone's Legend has to just kind of sort of protect in the situation. They could look for an engage though. LWX's flash is up in a matter of seconds, so that window is starting to slide away.
Starting to get a little bit narrower to get through that door, as you mentioned. As see what they want to go for. Anyone's Legend can just delete any turret if they get on top of it. There's Jace now with the Serelda's Grudge, the Young's Ghostblade, hell, even as another serrated Dirk. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised to see an Edge of Night. I actually would like to see an Edge of Night so he can't get caught out by the Trouble Bubbles. That would have been, you know, a perfect build then for him. And this is starting to run away from Anyone's Legend, and they're having moments. They know what they need to do. They just can't make it stick. I feel like I'm repeating myself from the TT series earlier, where TT were in a position against RNG to take a win, but they just couldn't make it stick. And again, it's the better teams that will be able to come out on top, even though they should technically be behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's their ability to not throw away opportunities. And in fairness to FBX, they've been convincingly ahead for this game, right?
Yes.
They've slowly accrued it, but they made it clear that they were the ones in control. And Anyone's Legend, they find these moments where they're trying to start a fight, kick things off, and it just hasn't really worked. And still waiting for the opportunity. And I got to credit Hung once again, right? He is permanently in a position where he's shadowing the side laners. So if you go for Gory, it's a lot harder to take him out because there's a Lulu in close vicinity. And on top of that, the vision setup, right? Chocho's clearing some out of it now, but he's making sure that when Jace and Rise are in the side lane, they're comfortable, they're not going to get threatened. And that's where they found this pressure, right? They've been playing the map wide. It's the reason why they've built up a CS advantage, because Anyone's Legend, they keep grouping, they keep moving people to different lanes.
Oh.
Beishwan,
hello, Beishwan. He's actually not this time running away. This time he was looking to try and get on top of Maple. Almost got him as well. So there's the stopwatch broken. No longer available. And there's no Zhonya's here for Maple either. Now we can see, my God, Chocho down to half HP. Has to flash away from the Moonlight Vigil. Gory, you're in no man's land. You do not want to be there by yourself. Does get the flash away. They do eventually take down Chocho, but it's in a trade for Gory. And now you can maybe keep pushing down Hung. Almost taken out there. You had the passive auto attack from the Ziggs, and in the end it's a 1-for-1. But look at Xiao Lao Hao, he's so big. Ooh. Pop goes the Weasel. Trouble Bubble turns it right back around. It's a trade of everything, but in the end it's still FBX saying our farm leads are just too damn big. Bring down the hammer. 400 gold, triple kill for Xiao Lao Hu, and a 2-0 for FBX.
yeah, they can just end here. Chocho's spawning pretty soon, but he's not going to be enough to defend against these, especially the raw amount of AD available to this jungle top. They've got a wave and top lane to work with. Chocho, there's not much you can do in this situation. It's just far too long. It's going to be the 2-0, and he's going to try. Valiant effort, but it won't be enough. The farm advantages, the 1-3-1 played out slowly. FBX very effective in accruing this lead and come in with a convincing 2-0.
Convincing 2-0. Very well done from him. From them. FBX now put themselves up to 3-0 on the split. They've won all 3 of their games. Very nicely done there. And again, this isn't even the full roster. This isn't even their final form. They're still waiting for Clid to come in, and they're still coming into the series undefeated.
Yeah, and it was convincing, right? Because I think that's the thing, as you saw RNG series earlier today, a little bit hit or miss, let's be real. But this one,